All right. My name's Mark Catalano. I live in Los Angeles, and we're going to learn some ukulele today. So I teach ukulele, guitar, bass, piano, voice, drums, and even like audio music recording. But today we are learning ukulele. So here's what I'm covering today. We're going to be going over tuning. We're going to be going over the different kinds of ukuleles. There can be confusion there sometimes. So I want to make sure that's covered. And we are going to be going over an exercise to build up your coordination and your hand strength. And then we're going to be finally going through Stand By Me by Benny King, which is an old favorite of mine. And I've got the chords and lyrics that I'm going to display on the screen for everybody. So let's start with tuning. If you'd like to take notes at all throughout class, here's a good time to get ready for that. We have 4 strings on the ukulele. They are closest one to your face, G. Okay. I have a little tuner clipped onto my headstock. These are great. If you don't have one, that's a good idea to invest in one. After G is C. Okay. I'm going to talk more about how to tune the strings, but for now, just the names of them. E is next. Last one, lowest to the ground, is A. Okay, so G, C, E, A. So headstock tuners are great. Also, if you're going to be trying a phone app, there's a great free one that I really like called INS Tuner. See if I can get it to, I can't really see it on the screen. A little too bright in here. But INS Tuner is the free app. I use that one a lot. I think it's great. So you can check that out. Also online, there are options where you can just look up online like how to tune your ukulele, and that has been really helpful to me. I think one time I didn't have my tuner with me, or the battery was dead or something, and I didn't have my phone on me, I want to say, and I had my laptop, so I pulled open Google and found it. But one of the ways that I like to remember tuning the ukulele is this kind of like old melody. My dog has fleas. And for whatever reason, that just like a stupid little melody is like has always stuck in my head. And melodies are good at doing that. So that's it. That's one of those things that you'll want to try to remember, because it's going to help you along the way. My dog has fleas. G, C, E, A are the letters. Okay, so if you're tuning up now, remember the musical alphabet is very similar to the normal alphabet. So if, for instance, I'll take my A string out of tune, G sharp is the end of the musical alphabet, and then it's going to start over again. So if your tuner says G sharp or G even lower, then you need to go a tiny bit higher, slowly tightening the string until you get up to the point where most tuners, they're going to have like a green arrow or a green marking of some sort, like right in the center of the screen, that's going to say when you get to the correct letter. So you have to make sure it's the correct letter. You want to make sure that that string lowest to the ground is A, and that it's green in the center of your tuner. You want to keep playing it, because you've got 2 kinds of tuners: vibration tuners that are actually like feeling the vibration of your ukulele, and that's how it knows if you're in tune or not, or microphone operated tuners, which are actually hearing the sound of the notes. So you have to keep playing it slowly, practicing that sort of consistency for the tuner to accurately read what the string is saying. So again, my dog has fleas. Okay, check every string one at a time. Check them again. These are nylon strings, which means that they can do a fair amount of stretching, and you've got temperature and humidity changes, throughout the year, where wood and metal expand and shrink from time to time, and so the strings are going to stretch out, and they're going to end up being a little lower or a little higher than they should be at times. So it's good to check it 2-3 times, just to be sure. One of the ways we can check that your tuning is like for sure good to go is just pushing on the string lightly down here by the sound hole. Just giving it a little tug by pushing on it. You're making sure that it's like really in tune. You don't want it to get, sometimes strings will get caught here in the nut. They'll get stuck with friction. It could even happen in the bridge. You want to make sure that it's like accurately reading the pitch. And so when we check it again, you may find, maybe your ukulele was cold when it was like sitting in the corner, and now that you're holding it against your body, it's warming up. That in itself could slightly change the tuning of the uke. So you got to take a minute and get it calibrated. But these are like really small movements. When you're tuning, these are micro movements. You're barely, if you like turn the tuner like halfway around, it's gonna go way out of tune. Okay, and we don't want strings to break and stuff. So one of the ways that you can check that you're in tune, once you are in tune, is a C chord. This is the most common chord on the ukulele. It's used a lot, and you just need one finger on the 3rd fret of that string that's closest to the ground. Okay, that's your A string, and you're gonna be on the 3rd fret, and you're playing all 4 strings. So every string is open except that 3rd fret you're pressing down on the A string. So when I say you're pressing down the 3rd fret, there's these metal bars. 1, 2, 3. So your finger goes like right behind that metal bar. And there you go. So I've been teaching for about 15 years now. I said earlier I live in Los Angeles. Today we're covering tuning. I hope everyone's good on tuning. Please throw a question in the Q&A if you're still having any issue with that. But I'd like to move on now to talk about the different sizes of ukulele. Okay, so if we're all basically beginners, I would assume, in class, this is actually something I learned even after, like way after I was a beginner. When I was already like well on my way to learning ukulele, I learned from another teacher about how the different sizes of ukulele are actually better for different body sizes. Okay, so this one's a soprano. I actually made this ukulele myself. Very proud of it. But this is a soprano-sized ukulele. So another very common size is a concert ukulele. I don't have my concert ukulele here at the moment, but so a concert ukulele would have a slightly longer neck and a slightly bigger body. They're very similar sizes, but the soprano is smaller than the concert. Those are definitely the 2 most common sizes of ukulele. I love this little soprano because it's easy to carry around if you're going to take it on trips or something. Like I said, I built it myself, so it has kind of a special place in my heart. But a concert-sized ukulele would actually be, it would fit my body a little bit better, because if you're like holding the ukulele under your arm against your body, my hand is all the way over here on the neck. It would actually be better if I had a concert. It would be a little bit bigger, and it would be a little easier for me to hold the ukulele under my arm further down if this was a bigger body and a longer neck, and then I would have a little bit better placement with my hand. So not a huge deal. But if you find yourself thinking that the soprano is a little too small for me, or maybe the opposite, maybe the concert feels a little too big for you, then when you're trying out ukuleles or looking like, oh, what should I get if there's something that I would like better, you'll know those are the two most common sizes. Even smaller than the soprano is the sopranino. The sopranino is really super tiny. It's really just like meant for kids. So just be aware of that. The one that I personally really love, that I've been looking into buying soon, that's my new obsession, is I've been looking up tenor ukuleles. Tenor is even bigger than concert. So we've got sopranino, smallest; soprano, very common; concert, a little bigger, very common; tenor, a little bigger than concert. Really meant for adults, longer neck, so you can access more notes. You can play further up the fretboard. The bigger the ukulele, they have a longer fretboard, and because they're bigger, they're going to have a bigger sound. They're going to have like a more robust sound to them. The bigger body and the longer neck lets the notes ring out longer and be louder. The tuning on all of these different sizes of ukuleles is the same. That's one thing to remember, is that whether it's a sopranino, a soprano like this one, a concert, or a tenor, generally the tuning is always going to be that "my dog has fleas." It's always going to be that same tuning. Okay, but the difference is sometimes on tenor ukuleles they will come with a low G note. So that means instead of this note that I'm going to play on my piano, they would have a lower octave. It would be a thicker string. They would play a lower octave of that G note instead of this high one. Sometimes you'll see that. But so essentially the tuning is the same. It's just on the bigger ukulele, they may have one octave lower version of a G note. But one last time for everybody, that order is G, C, E, A. And you may find, if your ukulele's new, or you just got the strings changed on it, or you haven't played it in a while, you might play it for a little bit, 15 minutes or something, and find like, oh, it actually went out of tune a little bit again. That's the nature of nylon strings. Sometimes you might need to take a second and tune it again. No big deal. Again, after you've played it for a few minutes and you tune it a couple of times, it should hopefully stay in tune for you. You can always stretch the strings a little bit by pushing on them, and that should help. Lastly, there's one more size of ukulele that's really big. It's almost the size of a guitar. It still has 4 strings, but it's called a baritone, and it actually has a different tuning than the rest of the sizes of ukulele. So sopranino, soprano, concert, tenor, baritone, biggest. So the baritone, the strings are going to be thicker. They're going to be longer, right? Longer neck, bigger body, even still bigger than the tenor. And the tuning is actually more similar to a guitar. The guitar has 6 strings, so it's not exactly like a guitar. It's, you know, it still has 4 strings like the rest of the ukuleles, but the tuning of it is going to be more like a guitar. The highest 4 strings of a guitar. There's not the lowest 2 strings on a guitar. Those are your sizes. I definitely recommend soprano or concert sizes for a lot of people. But again, smaller body people, like I'm not a huge guy, you know, I'm not 6 foot or anything. If you're a kid, maybe a sopranino would work great for you. Tenor for adults, even bigger than concert, awesome sounding, beautiful instruments. Okay, before I move on, one last time, if you're looking for an app on your phone to tune, I love the INS tuner. It's free. Also, if you look up headstock tuners, like a Snark, for instance, this one's not a Snark, but I have other ones that are. There's these 2 companies that recently combined, Planet Waves and Diodario. I forget, one of them now owns the other, but they make a great little headstock tuner that I have on one of my guitars as well. That, you know, they're like $15, I want to say. You can find them online. Maybe 10. I'm sure you could find one for $10. They take a little watch battery. They're great. Today, I would love to teach you all Stand By Me by Ben E. King. So I'm going to share a little something here that I made for class. Okay. I hope you guys can all see that, and I hope you can all see me still. This is a pretty standard chord and lyric chart that you'll see. I made this one myself because I wanted to be very specific about it. So we've got several different versions of this song where, depending on the singer, depending on if it's Ben E. King singing it, the original, or if it's somebody else doing a cover, you might find recordings of this song in several different keys. It usually depends on the singer because of different people's vocal range. So this one I wrote out in the key of F because it works nicely with my vocal range, and it also works nicely with ukulele. But just be aware of that. Sometimes you will find songs that are in different keys than what you may expect. If you listen to the song and you're like, that doesn't sound right, well, you're probably just listening to a version that's not in the key that we're doing it in. But today I wanted to make sure that we used some chords that are really good for ukulele, that are good to know that you can use in the future with other songs on ukulele. And so you'll see that if you look online, if you do a search, you'll see that a lot of chord and lyric charts look very similar to this, where the chords are written above the lyrics exactly where they need to happen. So for instance, when I play this first chord, F, when the night has come, what I'm doing is I'm actually strumming those chords right on the words where they need to happen. Now, let's not worry anymore right now about the words. Let's focus on these chords. So in that, as you can see in the right bottom corner, there's 4 chords that we are going to use for this song over and over, around and around. It goes F, D minor, then B flat, which is also sometimes called A sharp, but we're just going to call it B flat today, and C would be your last chord. We've already talked about C earlier. C again is like probably the most common chord in ukulele. There's only that one note that you have to press down. F is also extremely common. That's the most important chord in this song. So I want you to practice F. These charts are like if you're looking at the fretboard, you've got 4 different lines that are the different strings. You're going to see a circle at the top. Imagine that the top of each chart, each chord chart, is the nut. And if there's a little circle up there above a string, that means you play that string open. You don't have to put your finger on that string. It's just that string is going to ring out without you needing to put your finger on the fretboard. But so we've got the F chord, we've got 2 strings where we're going to press down our fingers and 2 strings where we don't have to. Also, by the way, I pulled those chords from a great chord chart that I found online that you can search for. I Google searched in Google Images just ukuchords.com complete, and the first thing to pop right up was this complete chord chart. And it's very comprehensive. It's great. There's like everything that you could want and imagine is all on this like one sheet that you can save to your computer, that you could pop open on your phone, whenever you need. I like to just have it out sometimes when I'm learning a song because, you're going to need to reference these chords. And so for this version of Stand By Me, I wanted to specifically just write, okay, these are the chords we need. These are the ones I'm going to put on the page. And then you've got them right there. So I hope you guys are practicing just getting your fingers in place. Maybe some of you already know C and F. The second chord of the song is D minor. Okay, so the thing with switching these chords is you want to do it. You want to be smart about your chords switching. So when we've got our fingers in place, now watch the fingers I'm using to play that F chord. I'm using my second finger closest to my face. And then the other finger I'm using is my first finger. Okay. So the way we'll talk about fingers when we're placing them is, 1, 2, 3, 4. Index is 1, middle 2, ring 3, pinky 4. So we don't need our ring finger or our pinky on this F chord, but then you're not going to move your fingers away when you switch to D minor. You're just going to simply put your ring finger on your C string. Okay. You want to have the anchor points of, keeping like, I don't have to, if I don't have to move my fingers, if, the notes are going to stay the same from one chord to the next, leave them there. Because if you take your hand all the way off the fretboard, now you're lost again. Oh, now I have to start from scratch. But it's like 2 of these notes are going to stay exactly the same between F and D minor. So leave them there and just put that one more note that you need on the second fret of that C string to make it a D minor chord. So there's only one note difference between F and D minor. F, D minor. Okay, so in D minor, you still don't need your pinky, and your highest, or I should say lowest to the ground string is still open. It's got that circle at the top above the string. Now, B flat, third chord of the song, is going to be probably the most difficult chord of the song to play. But it's a really important figure to learn because it's a really important shape to learn because B flat, it really is like used a lot in music, used a lot. And this chord shape is used pretty often on ukulele. And if you can play this chord, this is one of those chords where if you can tackle B flat on the ukulele, then you can do just about anything on ukulele because it's one of the harder things to learn, So And now when we make these moves, you know, you're on D minor. Let's try to make the movements as easy as possible for you. Make it ergonomic, right? Like you've got your first finger here on F and D minor, and then when it comes to B flat, you just lay it down to play 2 notes at the same time on the E and the A strings, okay? And then there's just a little switch there on your second and third fingers. See how I'm barely lifting my fingers off the fretboard at all? We don't want to lift our fingers far away ever, because then you're starting from scratch. You're like lost again. Like, oh, where did my fingers go? You want to just only lift them up as much as you need. No more than that when you're making your switch. Then we go to C. So from B flat, your C chord is probably going to be easiest to hit with the fingers that are closest to that note that you have to press down. So either your pinky finger that's not doing anything right now, I can just, you could slap that finger down on that C note. It's on the A string. It's the 3rd fret there is actually a C note. And take the rest of your fingers off, and then you're there. Or you can go from B flat if you find it more comfortable. You can sort of like shift your 3rd finger, your ring finger, down. So there's the B flat chord. Now the ring finger is going to stay on the same fret. It's just going to trade strings. So B flat, C, then we go back to F. Okay, so these are the only chords that I'm going to be specifically going over today. Just F, D minor, B flat, and C. The idea is you're looking at it, imagining, what's the best way for me to do this? What's the most ergonomic way for me to put my hand on the fretboard, where it's going to make sense for my hand to be comfortable, and almost more importantly, for my hand to be able to switch from one chord to the next. You know, I'm not gonna play the F chord in a weird way that's gonna make it difficult for me to switch to the next chord, D minor. You're gonna do it in a way that'll make it easy for you to transition to the next chord. We have to think about the transitions. How do we move our hands from one chord to the next? That's really important. But stand by me. It's the rhythm is just as important as the chords. Okay, the groove of this song matters. It's why people love. It's a big part of why people love music is the rhythm of the song. It's very memorable. It makes you want to dance and play the song again. So rhythmically here, I want to talk about when you're playing through the chords, just at the very beginning, for instance, on this F chord, we're going down, up, down, up. And the way that you could count that is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. It's like a downstroke happens on a downbeat on 1 of the measure, and we count this song in 4. So 1 and 2 and, so that's an upstroke, an upbeat, where you play your second strum. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So those are rests when I'm not hitting chords. Those are just rests in between. That's what makes up the rhythm. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So that's going to be the rhythm for the whole song. So no matter what the chord is, you're try to get that rhythm in your head. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and I'm on D minor now, right? I just put that one more finger on to make a D minor, and the rhythm stays the same. Even when we go to B flat, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and C, and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Sorry. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and it's good to play your downbeats with downstrokes and good to play your upbeats with upstrokes. It sort of keeps you correctly oriented on continuing the song. You don't want to screw yourself up. You want to try to have some consistency in how you play so that you can get muscle memory built up. It's like with the chord shapes. If we always play the chord shape the same way every time, then you're going to get that muscle memory going and you're not going to have to look at the chord chart anymore eventually. I promise. If you practice this over and over again, there's going to come a time where your hand's just going to go right to F without you having to even think about it, because you're going to build up that muscle memory. Same thing goes for rhythm. You want to learn how to tap your foot. Also, while I'm on rhythm, there's another great app that that I'm going to tell you guys about that I love. Like, I wish that I had this stuff when I was a kid, when I was growing up and 15, 20 years ago, learning music. None of this stuff existed. And it's amazing. So the one I was talking about earlier was this tuner app, INS Tuner. But this other one it's a metronome. It's called Pro Metronome. It's a great free app. I think there's like a pay version that you could get, but I've never needed the pay version. You just use the free version. That's fine. It's great as is. Pro Metronome. It's like these old little like wind up things that you would see on top of a piano. The digital versions of metronomes these days are really great. They're really, they've got a lot of nice features and accuracy, so that if you need help staying in tempo, they have a tap feature where you can tap out. You can actually, like, when you open the app, tap how fast you want to go, and it'll tell you the number, the beats per minute. So 60 beats per minute is 60 seconds, right? That's how fast a clock goes, 60 beats per minute. Double that is 120. 120 beats per minute is the speed that you would typically see a marching band moving at. But a song like Stand By Me is one of these sort of slower, kind of like ballad tempos. It's right around 90 beats per minute. And I can use my metronome to keep me in time. So I can practice tapping my foot along to the metronome. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then my strumming is doing something called subdividing. My strumming is doing downbeats and also upbeats. So upbeats are what happens in between the downbeats, right? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that was a C chord, right? But let's start back at F. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Just stay on F for a little bit. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and okay. That's the beat. That's the rhythm that you want to get stuck in your head for this song. That's what you need the whole time. Now I'm going to go ahead, and the beautiful thing about the metronome is we don't even have to do it that fast. You might be saying, that's too fast for me. I don't have these chords learned well enough yet. That's okay. You can use the metronome at a slower pace. You can use it at whatever pace you need, right? 90 beats per minute is too much. Lower the number. The one I've got, you just turn a little dial to make, or you can hit the arrows on the sides to make it slower. You could go down to 70 beats PM and it's gonna go slower for you. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and okay. and then you can find whatever tempo works for you. That's the one you got to use. You don't want to go. It's not going to help you to try to go faster than you are currently able to go. I know it's tempting. People want to like jump right into like playing a fast tempo, but having a consistent rhythm is way better than like being sloppy and trying to keep up with a faster tempo that you're not good enough at yet. You'll get there, but for now, you got to do the tempo that's going to work for you when you're practicing. And then you use the metronome to gradually speed that tempo up. So this week, you know, maybe it's 60 BPM. Maybe you're going nice and slow through this, making sure that you're playing consistently, evenly, smoothly through everything. And if the chords don't sound perfect yet, don't worry. You got to keep going. The practice is like, if we force ourselves to keep going and let ourselves sound bad at first. Dave Grohl actually has a great quote about that. He's a musician that I really love. And he, I'm paraphrasing, but you know, he said something to the effect of people have to be bad at music for a while before they can be good. You need to get together with your friends in a garage or whatever and sound bad for a while. You need to commit to sounding bad, to doing it. Because if you over and over just go, I can get the F chord, but it's hard for me to switch to the D minor chord and I can't play the, all right, so I'll just start over. And then you never like make it all the way through the song because you're not letting yourself sound bad. You're not letting yourself actually practice. I see that a lot where people just want to start over. And I'm like, wait, you never made it all the way through the chord progression. You got to go F, D minor, B flat, C over and over again. And if B flat sounds like crap and you can't get to C, that's okay. Try again the next time. Force yourself to get back to F at the right time. And then, okay, better luck next time. Okay, better luck next time. And let it sound as best as you can get it for that time. And don't worry about, thinking about, oh, that chord I just played sounded bad. No, think about the chord that's coming next. Think about the one you're doing now. Think forward. And you will slowly get better. And then before you know it, okay, I can do it at 60 BPM. Great. Now let's raise the tempo to 70 or 65. You could go even more gradually. Okay, now 65 or 70 feels good. Okay, let's raise it to 80, right? Maybe a week later, I think I can do it at 90 now. I can do it at the full tempo of the song, at the normal speed. I don't have to do it slow anymore. That's amazing, right? You gradually made a plan and followed that and got there. Okay, that's what we're talking about. Another way of doing this is on YouTube. I love the fact that on YouTube, if you open up Stand By Me, I just looked up Stand By Me in F. So we're in the key of F. I looked it up and there's somebody on YouTube who's playing the song in the key of F. Okay, you could open that up. Okay, I've actually seen this guy before. Munson Jam Tracks is his YouTube. Anyway, his videos are great to follow along with. He writes the chords on them. So what you need to do is there's on the computer there's a little gear logo that's the settings. You open that up and go to playback speed. And then you can actually slow down the song, whatever it is. You can slow down YouTube videos. You can go to custom on the computer. On the phone, when you open up YouTube, it's like 3 little dots that are the settings. You press that, and then you'll see playback speed. On the phone, that you can slow it down to like 75% or 50% speed. On the computer, you can hit custom and be even more detailed. So maybe I want to go to 90% speed or 80% speed. I can do that. Just slowing it down. So you can find that perfect speed for you. Right there, it was 60%. I gradually went down 5% each time I switched it. and then you find the tempo that works for you. You follow along, you get comfortable and confident with it, and you bump it up a little bit next time. Bump it up a little bit next time. Before you know it, you're playing at the full speed of the song. All right, now let's do it. Okay, so when the night has come down up and the land is dark and the moon is the only light we see. Commit to it. Keep going. No, I won't be afraid. No, I won't be afraid. Just as long as you stand by me. So darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me. If the sky we look upon should tumble and fall, or the mountain should crumble to the sea, I won't cry, I won't cry, no, I won't shed a tear, just as long as you stand by me. And darling, darling, stand by me, oh, stand by me, oh, stand by me, stand by me. Oh, and here the final thing. Whenever you're in trouble, won't you stand by me, oh, stand by me, oh, stand by me. And big finish. All right, I hope you forced yourself to keep up. That's what we got to do when we're practicing. We got to keep it rolling and just hope that, if you got it wrong this time, you'll get it right next time. Thank you guys for joining. And yeah, please get a hold of me if you'd like to do some lessons. And good luck with your ukulele journey. All right, take care.